Hi YouTube, Lizzie B here, making a quick video to talk about relationships within the congregation. Ooh, scandalous. Not much for me to talk about because I didn't date anybody in the Kingdom Halls. So I'm going to just preface everything to say that first. I was not interested in the brothers. No, I'm not gay, but I just didn't want to date any Jehovah's Witness men at all. Being that my situation growing up as a Jehovah's Witness was that I saw a lot of elders. I feel like every single elder or every single brother at our congregation was just not, they were misogynistic, they were perverts, they were mean. A lot of them would use their position of power in order to target people within the congregation. And having seen that and having seen how it affected our family, I just wasn't interested. I associated immediately Jehovah's Witness men with abuse. And I didn't want to be abused mentally, spiritually, emotionally, or physically. And because of that, I automatically had blinders on when I would go to Kingdom Halls. I was Stevie Wonder. I wasn't seeing anybody. I wasn't interested in any men. The only reason I went to the Kingdom Hall was to get my spirituality in check and to just try and get my relationship with God where I wanted it to be. That was it. But I know there was a lot of single women, and every time I would hang out with a lot of the single women at the congregations, we would talk about guys, or they would talk about guys, because I didn't know anybody. And I was always there very briefly, like I said. But they would talk about guys at, different congregations, or different brothers that maybe they may have met at conventions and stuff. And a lot of them were actively looking for marriage mates. So as far as dating within the congregation, there's a lot of that going on. And a lot of people pick mates on the basis of, well, I can't date outside of the religion. And then also, is this person doing enough spiritual activities to make them a good marriage mate, which is ridiculous, and that has nothing to do with making a relationship work. As someone who is currently married, I got married after I left the organization, but as someone who's married, I can tell you that it's really important to have a lot in common with that person and to know that person, because living with them and seeing them day in and day out, you're going to need more than the fact that you guys do field service together. It's, you're going to need more than that. But a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses pick their partners on the basis of that. And to me, it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous even when I went to the Kingdom Hall. One thing that I did find that was also kind of interesting is that a lot of the brothers are so used to women clamoring over themselves to get to them that the brothers really felt full of themselves or felt more into themselves than they should have been. Because I know anytime I would talk to a brother, they would always kind of, it was like in their mind, they thought every conversation or every interaction that they would have with me or with other young, attractive single women is that woman wants them. I could see it. And, I remember when this one time I was talking about recipes with this one brother. And I said, yeah, I just learned how to make some kind of pie. I just made a pie. He's like, oh, that sounds great. I said, I'll bring you a piece for the next meeting. We're in the same book study. I'll bring you a slice when I come back. He says, well, I'm married. And okay, I mean, first of all, I didn't understand. I didn't even understand. I wasn't even offended because I didn't understand what he meant. You know what I mean? I was thinking, I know you're married. I know your wife. She's a lovely woman. Number two, he was like 70. He was like 70 years old. He looked like Kermit the Frog. He was just like this, just like a little guy, and he was 70. And I saw him kind of like a grandpa type, even though, like I said, I wasn't close to him. It was just weird. But I think for that particular instance, it really sums up to me how the brothers think when it comes to women in the organization. They tend to think that everybody wants them, and they also have an inflated sense of ego, and they think that they look better than what they do, or I don't know. I mean, like, all of the environment, the whole situation kind of sets things up to make these men feel like they are more than what they are, because these women don't have a choice, and so they're dating, they're doing what they got to do so that they can not be alone and not feel alone. And that means dating brothers that they would not ordinarily date, people that they would not be into. So I think that in that particular instance, that's what he thought maybe I was doing. Like, I don't know, he thought I was hitting on him or whatever. And that wasn't the only time that happened. It's happened to me on more than one occasion where a brother would shoehorn, the mention of their wife into a conversation that had absolutely nothing to do with anything inappropriate or just, nothing to do with the relationships whatsoever. So it's just weird. I always found that to be really weird. The women were, some of the women could be a little like nervous around, like if you're around their husband, and women know their husbands. As a wife, I can tell you, I know my husband, I know his type. You know what I mean? But I could see the tenseness when it came to certain sisters, because they were nervous about their husbands, or they know their husbands are perverts or whatever. I don't know. I always found that to be weird. But I do find that, men in general, inside the organization and out, have a sense of arrogance that women just don't have. And so with this arrogance comes this feeling of entitlement and feeling of that women can, women are into you when they're not. Men have a tendency to have a level of confidence that if I could bottle it, oh my God. Either way, I digress. But I did manage to go out on dates with men out in the world. And I went out on a date once with this guy from college. And we went to like a line dancing thing or something, and we ran into the sister that she didn't go to my congregation. She went to another one, but I thought she was cool. I liked her a lot. And so I ran into her. I said hi. I know she saw my date. He was a handsome guy. And said hi, and she didn't say anything. She never brought it up later, and I'm happy that she didn't. But even if she did, as far as I was concerned, nobody's chaperoning me. I'm grown. No, you're not chaperoning me on a date. And I know that's part of like the organization's rules. They want you to, if you're gonna date, you have to have somebody chaperoning. I thought, okay, I pay my rent. I pay my car insurance. I'm good. I don't need a chaperone on a date. You're not gonna do that. So I wasn't really even worried that she was going to rat me out. And because I wish somebody would. I wish somebody would tell me that I can't go out on a date. Oh my goodness. Oh, I was ready. I'm not the most confrontational person, but there were certain things that I just did not abide by, and that was one of them. One thing I do want to bring up before I end this video, because it's already gone on way too long, is that I do think that there's a lot of judging that goes on when it comes to women that are joining an organization from outside of it. When men join, when men who've been out in the world join, become Jehovah's Witnesses, they start looking at the ladies real early. They're like scouting and just trying to find a good woman. And a lot of them are so zealous, and they're looking for somebody that's doing 1 million field service hours. And it's not hard to find. It really isn't. This is the one thing that stands with every congregation I've ever gone to. Gorgeous women out in field service. And I have some funny stories about that too. But yeah, that is the one constant, is that you will find a lot of very attractive women as Jehovah's Witnesses that are out in field service and that qualify for a good marriage mate. But when it came to women, when women come out of the world and join the religion, it would be the other way around. It would be, oh, fresh meat. I remember when I first went back to the Kingdom Hall, the first Kingdom Hall that I went to, the sister that I was studying with, she, I think this was my second time going to the Kingdom Hall, my second study with her, and it was like the Theocratic Ministry school night, and she introduces me to this brother, and he's like an elder, and he's, again, 70s, white guy, like, this small, and she says, hey, this is Liz, she's new here, I just wanted to introduce you to her. I think he was like the head elder, I don't know what the name is of that. But she's like, this is Liz, she's new, I want you to meet her. And he's like, hi, Liz, are you married? And I'm just like, no. And he's like, do you have any kids? And I was like, no. And he's like, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what was that about? And he's like, well, welcome aboard. It's good to have you here at our congregation and blah, blah, blah. And everybody went back into, magazine people mode, and he walked off, and I was confused yet again, as I was often as a Jehovah's Witness. So, that is a certain level of currency, I think, when it comes to the organization, whether you're married or not. That is a status. And I was single, and that really, the brothers said and did a lot of weird stuff around single women. I'll say that. So that was my experience. Oh, also, and if you weren't raised in the truth, people tend to think that if you come in from out of the world, that you was wild in the streets, and you're gonna come into the Kingdom Hall and be a Jezebel and take everybody's man and that kind of thing. And so I found that there was a lot of that for the first few months of whatever congregation I would go to. Oh, my phone is always blowing up when I make these videos, but there's a lot of like people judging you and thinking that you're gonna like go around sleeping around, or like you're free with sex. People were waiting for sex stories from me, and I was like, I got snuffed. I'm sorry, like, I'm not gonna slip up and tell you a sex story, and I'm not like, why would I tell you a sex story anyway? Like, I'm not here for that. But people were waiting. I remember I had told somebody that I had to drop my dog off at my ex-boyfriend's house or something like that, and they were like, so you live together? And I'm like, no. Where did you get that from? You know what I mean? So just weird things where people think that if you're single and you came from out of the world, that you were just swinging from chandeliers and sliding down poles. And I didn't have that. That was not me at all. And I wasn't going in looking for a man. Just ridiculous. So that was my experience. Again, just telling you my viewpoint on things. But there's a lot of brothers out there that think every woman wants them, and every woman is looking for a man, which was not the case. Not the case at all. There's a lot of good women out there that were looking for spouses, and I feel sorry for those women, but I was not one of them. So yeah, that's it. And thanks for watching my video. Let me know what your experiences were dating with an organization. I'm interested in that. I don't know how it was. I can only imagine what it was like dating. Did you guys have chaperones on your date? Let me know, your experiences in the comments below. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer anything. And thanks for watching. Bye.